Hello, travelers. Mark here with Walt's World. And today we're here in my office, just back from 3 weeks in Europe. We're filming all kinds of places: Finland, Sweden, Latvia, Netherlands, England, Ireland, all kinds of good stuff. So back home for a bit. Hint, 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 with the drink for one of our destinations this summer. But I thought I'd go on here because I've actually got quite a few comments lately, and people writing about homesickness when they're traveling, like they're abroad. I think of some of our study abroad students, like I miss home, I miss like my family. I thought I'd be good to kind of go through some tips in terms of advice on how to kind of deal with homesickness. And actually, on my trip, I actually filmed a video on dealing with homesickness, but it's not going to be out for a while. So I got so many questions. I thought it'd be good for me to make this video now. Hey, Garcatch. Hey, Robert. Good to see you. Brian, always a pleasure. But I think one thing, so we were in Japan a few years ago. I don't know when I'll be back. But yeah, it's a fun time, especially now when it's like with the exchange rate, it's so much cheaper than when I was there years ago. So it'll be fun. Oh, AJ, don't worry. South Korea in June, you'll have a great time. Yaz, what up? John, good to see you too. Ronnie Dove. Everyone in the house. Good to see everybody. But I want to do what I'm going to do is I'll do a couple of the like dealing with homesickness when you're traveling, and then answer questions and kind of go back and forth and stuff, so people kind of get both of the things. Because I think one thing I think is important when people get homesick, whether you're away to college or you're doing your 2 weeks or your 3 weeks in Europe, or you're even if you're just doing a road trip across the U.S., sometimes you do miss home. You get that little like twinge in your heart, and it's not indigestion from having too many burgers or whatever. You do have that. And one thing I say is like, don't be afraid to call home. Like one of the things you have to worry about is if you call home too much, that causes too much homesickness. It can hurt. But I would say sometimes it's okay. Call home. Just call and say, hey, someone that you miss. But one thing I got to tell you, don't call the people that will make you miss home even more. Especially if you have family members like, why did you go? You could have stayed here. Oh, I can't believe it. Must be dangerous there. Like those people actually drive you away, make you more homesick, and it gives a kind of a negative thing. So the people that are excited that you're traveling, talk to them, call up your buddy. I mean, I know for me, I was traveling. I was in Rotterdam, and there's a very interesting Santa Claus statue there. Just FYI, very interesting. Don't look it up if you're at work. Anyway, and so I like wrote something because I was a little homesick because I was about 2 weeks into my trip of filming, it was just me. And so I sent it to some of my buddies, and so we kind of went back and forth and had our little guys chat and had a good time. So it kind of relieved that homesickness. But don't be afraid to reach out. Another way I think they can help people with homesickness is write down your feelings, whether you're journaling or making videos like on YouTube. Those are things that other people are going through the same thing, but also for you, you have that. You remember what it was like when it was there. And sometimes just kind of sharing your experience and your feelings, whether it's written or video form or whatever, helps you kind of deal with it. It helps kind of fight that homesickness. Because one thing I don't want people to do is say, I'm so homesick, I want to go home. Because when it's happening, you're so homesick, and then you go home and you regret it later. Like, why I could have made another day if I just would have done this, So something to kind of think about out there, because, sometimes when you get homesick, sometimes you just need a taste of home. That's why I say, always find out where those Irish pubs are or the Chinese restaurant is, because Irish pubs around the world, they all got the same food, the same drink. Chinese restaurants around the world, same food kind of stuff. So whatever you have back home, it gives you a little bit of home again. So that's something that can kind of help with your homesickness, to give that little taste when you're home. Okay. Now, Chris says, there's no reason to be homesick while traveling. Every travel is an adventure. You will return home eventually. Sometime noted to get frustrated. I agree, Chris. I agree. But sometimes people get that. I mean, I've taken students abroad, and we'll do like a month in Europe. Sometimes it's 10 days, sometimes it's a month. And, I'll see the students. Sometimes it's after 5 days. They're like, I want to get Burger King. I'm like, it's fine. Go get burgers. It's going to help you feel better. But it's one of those things you never know when it's going to come. Because sometimes homesickness, it's, you see someone that reminds you of your grandma. Like I remember when I lived in Lithuania, I used to take the minibuses, like the minivans around town. And I got on this one, and this old man sitting in front of me looked exactly like my grandpa. My grandpa died in 1989, and this was like 2004. So it was like, I mean, I literally was sitting there like I didn't even think to take a picture or anything. I was just so like, oh my God, it's my grandpa, like his clone. And like the guy got on the bus, and I was like really homesick. I was like, gosh, I miss my grandpa. I miss my parents, so you have that. So that's one of those things that you kind of like, hits you when you don't realize it. That's why it's good to have like an idea of things I can do. So Robert has a good one. Maybe download a VPN and watch TV from your home area since streaming is everywhere now. Yeah, that's one of those things. It is one of these. That's what's nice about the YouTubes that are out there. Like you can watch Walter's World wherever you are in the world, or you can watch your favorite TV show anywhere in the world. Like that's one thing. If you have like shows that are like Netflix originals, those are on Netflix all around the world. And what's cool is sometimes there's different Netflix available, like where you go places. So that could be really nice. So one of those things there. Casimiris wants to know, hey, Mark, is it worth visiting Florence in mid-August? It's always worth it to visit Florence, but it'll be very hot and it'll be very, well, mid-August, the American tourists are done by then. There's still European tourists going out there, but like mid-August, people will be away for vacation, so we've gone some, but I mean, it's doable. It's just going to be hot. It's going to be a lot of people, so just be ready for that. Hey, Dedzio. Hey, Lori, good to see you. Hi, Mary T. Thank you. Though I'm sure you're a bot if you're thinking I'm hot. And Jocelyn might come through and get you, so be careful. Yes, and Brian makes a good point. If you have Netflix or YouTube Premium, you can download videos and have those. I know for me, so I went back to Finland when I was an exchange student in high school. And I literally, before I went back, I actually downloaded all the music I liked from back then because I always get like, emotional, like, oh, I remember when I was there and like the songs and stuff. And so it really kind of helped me get through that. And I know there's sometimes like when I travel during the holidays, sometimes like, because when travel the holidays, like the core four, Jocelyn, me, Caleb, and Liam, right? But yeah, I still miss my parents, and your other family members, like my aunt and stuff. So sometimes it's having those programs used to watch. Like my mom and I forever have watched White Christmas together. And so when I was studying abroad, I got the White Christmas DVD. And back in the day when you had the DVD players in your computer, and I would watch that. And I'd be like, hey, Mom, let's watch this tonight. So she'd be back home. We'd watch it like this was before Skype, but we'd both watch it and we talk about it later. And I know Jocelyn and I, what we do, because we were dating and I was living in Portugal and she was in the US, and we would actually like stream, and watch movies at the exact same time. So I remember it was Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. We did that, and that kind of helped. So there's that. Hey, Moshe, yeah, good to see you. Thank you, Laura. I'm trying. It's kind of, I was doing like this. It's kind of leveled off right now because the 3 weeks of travel in countries that I like the food too much. So it's back to it. We're 3 days in a row back at the gym, hardcore stuff. I wasn't sweating. I was literally leaking. So we're going to keep it going. The goal is another 50 pounds. So I've lost about 80 and I want to lose another 50 so that I could be sexy like you all. So there is that. Let's see. Oh, AJ saying, I've never been to another country and I'm doing a study abroad, and so I'm so nervous. Hey, AJ, you will have a great time. It'll be a great experience for you. It is very nervous. One thing I'll say, my cousin, he went to London last year as an exchange student, and he was having a tough time when he was first there. And I ended up going to see him like, hey, remember, take advantage of it. All those cool things you can do, just go do it. Someone asks you, just say yes, because no one's going to ask you a second time. They'll only ask you one time to do something, so don't say no. Go do it, and then you might see the things you like. And my cousin, he ended up seeing like 30 countries in Europe. He went all over, but it was like one of those things you realize he was nervous, but once you take that first step, you'll be surprised how much more you're going to want to go see. So don't let it freak you out. Okay. You'll have a great time when you study abroad. South Korea is a safe place. It's a fun place. You will have a great time. Don't worry about that. Thank that. Yeah, I appreciate it. So I think another thing, if we go back to our video about Korea. Yeah, so Korea has been one of the ones that got nailed. So we're looking to when to go back for that, because right now, so summer trips, we're doing a bunch of stuff in the U.S. We've got some stuff later in the summer in South America, so we've got that coming. And then in the fall, I've got a bunch of stuff around the U.S. We're going to do some more Caribbean stuff, and I think we'll be back in Europe maybe the end of the year, maybe. I don't know if we're going to do that. Then next year we're back because we're finally getting back to this place we want to go. So Egypt and Ethiopia is on the 2025 list of places to go. So we're starting to like get things together. So it's really kind of nice. But yeah, this summer now, because I did the 3 weeks already, and then now it's like home for a bit to just decompress, get some more stuff. I ended up filming about 140 videos when I was there, from like the loves and hates, don'ts, shocks, all kinds of different places, but also did a lot new, like this is my script book, and literally all these pages are different video scripts. So like things that give you ways in America when you travel. Dumb ways tourists waste their vacation. Let's see what else we got. Don't be an ugly American. When's the best time to travel? Ways that travel change the way you think. Things to do at the airport. How to experience life like a local when you travel. That was one. It was really a fun one to do. All kinds of stuff. What to look for in Airbnb reviews. Like that's one thing a lot of people are asking because they kind of change their stuff. Also, I'm putting together the script right now. I'm going to film later this summer on how to find hidden cameras because though they're not supposed to have cameras inside, if they're hidden cameras, they're not going to tell the people they're doing. So we have those things coming up. So lots of stuff coming. Mary, New Glarus spotted cow. It's from Wisconsin. So we're gonna go up there later this summer. I've been to Wisconsin a few times as a kid. I went last summer, but we've never gone to like Door County, so we're gonna go up there because it's a really popular place. Titans fan 4. That's awesome. You have a great time in Italy. That's awesome. I can't wait for you to go. Let me know how it goes. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate it. So, let's see. Krakow's beautiful. Okay. Elite Sam's. Hey, Walter. Going on a small Europe trip next month. Is it easy to catch trains across countries? Are they expensive? So it depends where you are. Some are expensive. Like if you're in Germany, they're expensive. But if you're like in Portugal, they're cheap. If you're in Spain, I find them affordable. But you have to realize there's usually different levels. If you take the cheap train, it might take 2 or 3 hours longer to go across certain countries. Whereas if you take the faster train, they can get you across in a few hours. So that's one that they kind of consider. That's why when you're looking for like, if you're looking at a train that's going to be like 7 or 8 hours long, maybe look at like an EasyJet or Ryanair, and it might be faster and cheaper. It'll be faster for sure, but cheaper to fly than versus taking the train. That's why if you're thinking about doing these European trips, you can like, we'll fly into London and we'll fly out of Italy. And then you can do some stuff here. Then you like Ryanair it to, Prague and see that. Then Ryanair from Prague down to, Rome and see that. Then fly out of there. So there are much more options than there used to be going there. And that's actually, I did a video on how travel has changed in the last 25 years. And that's one of the biggest things is how the low-cost airlines, has made travel available to everyone. It's not just the rich. It's like everybody can go do that because literally, I remember when I lived in Portugal, it was cheaper for me to fly to Italy for the weekend than it was for me to take the train up to Porto, which is like a 3-hour train ride. DB, thank you very much, my friend. Have you been to the French Polynesia? Sadly, I have not. That is one thing we thought about doing in 21, but stuff was still closed, so they kind of got pushed back, and now it's gotten to the point like I look at things now because the prices. I mean, inflation's insane, and travel inflation is just crazy. Like that was one of the reasons why I did the 3-week trip of traveling just myself, because taking all 4 of us to do the filming was incredibly expensive. And so that's why I got into it on my own. I'm looking at some of these places and like for those who know, like if you ever, like we have a blog, Walter's World, which does okay. It's nothing like our YouTube channel, but I mean, it's been decimated. It gets like 1/10 of what it used to get, after these last change a few months ago. And Walter's World, like the viewers, we used to get about 2 million views a month. We used to get about 5. So like the financial side, because we don't do the sponsorships really, and we don't get paid to do anything. So it's all based on the ad revenue, because I don't want to be like, yes, this is the greatest place ever, sponsored by. I'm like, if I want to be sponsored by somebody, I want to be a brand that I believe in, because I don't want you to think Mark's hawking something because he doesn't like it. He's only doing it because of mother. I want to be something I believe in, right? So there's those things. Door County coffee is delicious. I will tell Jocelyn. I don't drink coffee. Fun fact, I don't drink coffee. I actually hate the smell of coffee. So there's that. Hey, man, I'm from Illinois too. Don't worry. Foot trails around me. Yeah, change it. Oh, that's actually good. So Mache brings up a point. Like there's a lot of foot trails where she lives, so she can go and hike. Preparing for your trip before you go. Because one of the things, if I circle back to the homesickness thing, sometimes you get homesick because you're just worn out. Because you're just so tired from all the walking. You're not used to all that walking. You may say, well, I walk, 8,000 steps a day, and I do this. I was doing 30,000 steps a day. So we're talking like 15 miles a day walking on my 3-week trip. Didn't have a gym. But I think the 2 lowest days I had were just under 10,000 steps because I had the second worst food poison ever. And the thing is, if you can't move around and you're feeling gross, you're feeling hurt, that's where homesickness can come in, because you just feel bad about yourself and it kind of sucks in. So I think that's why if we think about some other ways to kind of fight homesickness, I think one thing you can do is, like I talked about, find the Irish pubs and the Chinese restaurants are the same everywhere, but find food that's just from home. It's okay if you want to go grab a Big Mac. It's all right. You want to get that Starbucks when you're going through Portugal? Go ahead. Because sometimes you just need that one little touch of home to kind of like satiate that homesickness, like little touch, and that can help you get through, get to the next trip, get to the next part. Okay, so I want you to think about that. Another thing, if you're going to be living abroad for a long time, like I lived in Portugal for 5 years, and I didn't go home to the U.S. very often because it was too expensive. And I was a PhD student, so like I had no money, and so when I got really like missed home, I'd actually go to London because I can go to London. I got the English, I got the TV, because we used to watch a lot of PBS, which had a lot of BBC stuff when I was a kid, Doctor Who and all that. And then I would see my friends that lived there. But then it was also, if any food I missed from home, I miss good Italian food, I miss good Mexican food, I could get that in London. I know I could go to Portugal or I could go to Italy for that, but it was one of those, you find a place like that makes you feel like you're home. That's why a lot of travelers love going to like Ireland and England and the Netherlands, because sometimes it feels like you're home. Like if you're from the Midwest, so Mary from Wisconsin or Illinois, we got a lot of German immigrants here. Like I remember the first time I went to Germany, as a north of Germany, like, wow, this all looks like my hometown, because my hometown was North Germany. Like they all came from North Germany, so it looked like that. So it helped me kind of feel like I was back home, so I felt more touched. But that's the thing, is sometimes when you go to places like we were in China, I taught in China for a summer, and the whole family came with, and it was such a culture shock, such a big thing that it was really hard. So we actually would go once every 2 or 3 weeks. We'd go to Pizza Hut, and the kids would get pizza, and I'd get steak on a stone. It was amazing. Like I was like, oh my God, pizza! This is, what are you doing? And where we go to TGI Fridays or something. It was just like those little things helped us get through. Because that's the thing, is I don't want people to give up on their travels because they're homesick. Because I've seen people, when I travel around, especially when I was younger and I'm traveling by myself, I usually met a ton of solo travelers, or I meet people that are solo travelers because their buddy they were traveling with just got homesick and just went home. Like that's one of those things. And then they're like, "Oh, I really threw away that opportunity." And I don't want people to do that, because it's one of those things you'll see and be like, "Did I mess up?" And I don't want you to feel that way. Okay. Now, let's see. Tanya wants to know, Mark got 3 days in Munich. Would a day trip to Neuschwanstein be worth it? You can do it. Yeah, it's like 2 hours. You got some hiking there. There's a little town Fussen there. It makes for a nice day trip. It'll be fine. But if you want to do a day trip, I'd recommend doing a day trip to Salzburg. It's like 2 hour train. It goes directly from there to Salzburg. You can see Salzburg for the day and then come back. That would probably be much more of a the country, and you get a lot more stuff there. That's what I probably represent, or I'd probably go there. Would you recommend a Steam Deck on a plane? It's okay. Liam uses that sometimes. Um, but he had the stuff downloaded. So the Wi-Fi, if you have the Steam Deck where you're trying to play, the Wi-Fi is usually not strong enough for that, unless you're like gonna like Emirates kind of thing. So, but when you travel, you can do that. Like Liam, when we go, he has his phone, and then he has the little like connector thing on it, so he can play all his Xbox Live games through that. And he has my old phone from like 5 years ago, and it works fine. So that could be something to think about. Nelly, hope you're doing well. Vermont viewer, that's up there. Have you seen polar days when nights are like? Yes. So for those who know, I lived in Finland for a year. I lived in Lithuania for almost 4 years. So I spent a lot of time in Northern Europe over the years. And then I lived in Berlin for 3 years. And so I was used to it's 11 o'clock at night and it's still sunny. But then there's it's 11 o'clock in the morning and it's already dark, which kind of sucked sometimes. It's cool one year, but then you're like, after a while, it kind of gets to you. Thank you. Yeah, don't forget to click the like button. I appreciate it, but I do enjoy it. Oh, AJ. So, AJ, should I take my Nintendo Switch to South Korea? Yes, but one thing I will tell you, I don't know if the Nintendo Switch cartridges there will work on your Switch. Because it's kind of like when I have a Nintendo 64 that I had when I lived in Europe, but I have a Nintendo 64 here as well in the US because they didn't go across. So cartridges, DVDs, you have to see which ones work. I could ask Liam; he would know. If he comes up by here, I'll ask him. But like, have your games with you, and you can play that fine because you can charge it because it has because it's USB-C. You can charge that on anything, so you'll be good to go. Extreme Sequencing. Say, Mark, my family is in 1 week for a 37-day European adventure. Hashtag Jelly Mark, because I am jealous. That is awesome. Let me know where you're all going to go. That's going to be cool. Yeah, 95% Germany. Yeah, there's a ton of us. A ton of Germans came to Illinois. And that's why if you look up in like Wisconsin and especially Minnesota, you'll see a lot of Finns. moved up there because it reminded them of where they were from, and that's why like a lot of northern Germans came to Illinois because it really looks like you have the red brick and you see that a lot because they came here and made them feel like, oh, that's what it's like back home. So a lot of immigrants when they came did that. They went to places that remind them of home because they get homesick too. Oh, outside job, closed. Zum Wohl. So, Cat Mom, Montreal in the summer, early fall. So, lots of festivals in the summer. So, check those things out. Everybody's outside, and they have all these not balconies, like terraces you can go eat at all over the city. Like that's really cool thing. If you watch my old Montreal videos, those are filmed in summer. If you watch my new Montreal videos, those were filmed I think in September. So to give you an idea that the timing of the year, so just put Montreal Walter's World on YouTube and it'll come up, give you some tips of things to do. Yeah, but if you go where there's the big Ferris wheel, you go across the river, there's an amusement park, there's a big park over there. That's kind of a fun thing to do as well. Peter Ramirez, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing your experiences. I'm glad to share. I mean, I haven't had a chance to do a lot of the lives lately because going for the 3 weeks, hotel internet, it sucks. Like I've had some places where I could upload the videos, but I couldn't do the lives because you can tell it's like kind of bad quality here. But it's one of those things. Like if I want to do a live, I don't want to like cut out after like 5 minutes because then it's like, oh, we got to start a new one, and then so. Ooh, London, Paris, Venice, Florence, Rome, Barcelona. You get the main ones. That's a nice one. The only thing I'd throw in there would be like Prague. That would be long. But let me guess, you fly to London, take the train down to Paris, fly to Venice, take it down to Florence, Rome, and then fly from there to Barcelona. Then the Barcelona flight to Lisbon, train up to Porto. I'm gonna guess that's what it is. That's a good trip. That's a fun trip. All those places. If it's your family going, yeah, all places you have a good time with your family too. So that's awesome. Okay, if you had give me one tip before I go on the study abroad, what would it be? I'm excited but so nervous. So I will tell you what my first time I studied abroad, I was in Australia in 1993. That's a long time ago. And my advisor or counselor, whatever they call you, like your person you talk to, he's like, Mark, when he was taking me to the airport to fly back home, he's like, Mark, today's going to be the worst day and the best day of your life. Because the worst day, because you're saying goodbye to all these friends. It'll be the best day because you go back home and you'll see your family again. So when you're having those tough days, no, I'll be home to see my friends again. But this is your chance to go and explore. So one thing I'd recommend is figure out trips that you want to do while you're there and book your flights. Book your trains already. And then if you meet people while you're studying there, then you can say, hey, I've already got these trips signed up, and they can go with you. Because what happens a lot of times with study abroad students, they like talk about wanting to go do things and they never do. And so you kind of miss out because you think they're going to go and they don't. You cancel out. Only book your own stuff. Okay. Another thing I recommend, if someone asks you to do something, say yes. And the thing is, when you first get there, people are going to be like, oh, you're new. Let's do something. You're going to be so tired with that 10, 12-hour time difference. You got to suck it up. You got to like go do so with people because it just show your enthusiasm. They're more likely to ask you to do something again later. So that would be my advice to you. Ooh. Cherry, hello. Spending 3 months in Greece, got an apartment on the island of Samos. What would you say is must see in Greece, excluding Athens, Mykonos, and Santorini, the three most over-touristed places? I would say Nafplio. Go to Nafplio, the old capital. That is well worth going to. We were there last summer. I got more videos from Nafplio coming out, more Greece videos coming out probably before your trip comes out. I think I have one coming out next weekend on mistakes of Greece. But Nafplio is definitely one like – the Peloponnese, rent a car and go explore down the Peloponnese. That's really nice. I'm not a big fan of northern Greece. I like Crete because Crete you can fly. You can stay in Hania. I would stay in Hania or by there for the beaches. And you can drive around and see. Go to like the Knossos, the Palace of Knossos, where the Cyclops was and everything. Well, supposedly you can have that. That would be what I recommend. You have plenty. Like with that much time, you got time to see so much. You're gonna have a great time. You're gonna have a great time. Favorite state in New England, Maine. Can't beat the lobster. I'm sorry. I love the lobster on the coastline. It's gorgeous. Oh, family of four? Yeah. No. I've taken my kids at those exact ages to all of those places and they had a great time. You picked the right. That's a good trip for your kids. When they get a little bored in London, when you go by a park, just chill out. Except for Paris. I don't know if they play soccer or anything. If we always would take like a little soccer ball with us, and the kids would have in their backpack, or I'd put it on the back of my backpack, and so we go, they can kick it around. They met so many other kids that way, like in hotels and all kinds of stuff. So have that. Also, like I tell everyone, bring a deck of Uno cards because you don't have to speak the language to understand the numbers and the colors, and you'll understand there's different rules of Uno in different countries. I gotta get sponsored by Uno. I give them so much hype. I have not done that. My parents have, so I just go off of theirs. Let's see. Some other. Let's go back to where it was. I'll find my notes on the homesickness thing here. Here we go. So another thing, fighting homesickness. Going back to the other thing we were talking about on here. One thing. It sounds weird, but go to a movie. I mean, if it's like Netflix and chill kind of stuff, just go to a movie if it's in your own language. Because a lot of times you'll find that in some countries, they might not have it in your own language. Like in Germany, it's in German. But if you go to a bigger city, they'll have an original language one and go do that. And I remember for me, when I lived in Berlin, that was really cool. Like when I get a little homesick, I go see a movie. And in Lithuania, when I lived in Lithuania, it was literally like $1.50 to go see a movie. So I would see like movies like 3 times. I go see like 3 movies back to back to back, just because it like helped me, like, English. Because, popcorn is popcorn, though. Be careful because some places it's sweet, some places it's salty, sometimes it's buttery, sometimes it's other stuff. So make sure you get the right one that you like. Jen, listen to Mark, guys. My kids had a fun, successful trip to school last year, and lots of it was due to the advice and preparation I got from Mark. Oh, thanks, Jen. That's really nice of you. Thank you. So, yeah, these are good ones. Delphi, Pedatus, Octagonia. All good stops. Chris Frankie, good to see you, my friend. Okay, Juan, I'm going to Euro trip this fall. The best one transportation for Berlin, Dresden, Brno, Vienna. Take the train. You got a train from Berlin that goes. The train from Berlin to Prague goes through Dresden. Stop in Dresden, spend some time there, then you go down there, and then the train from Vienna to Prague to Vienna goes through Brno, and you can get off there. And what's great when you take the train through Brno, you see the cathedral up on the hill. You're like, "Yo, I want to get off the train here." I actually did that. I have to get out here. I actually get out of the train. I had to get a new ticket to go back. Like I gotta go because Brno has the mummies. I actually have videos in all those. No, Dresden I don't. Berlin, Prague, Brno, Vienna. I got plenty of videos in all those cities that can help you out. Hey, Captain here in Pakistan. Hope you're doing well. Eric B. Spoiler alert for this year's Christmas video. Travel Adventures with Eric B will be in it. Also, there will be a new Eats of New Orleans video with Jocelyn and Eric B coming out this summer. So heads up for that. Oh, yes. Laundry facilities. So I have a trip coming up later in the summer. We're probably going to take one of Caleb's friends with us. And they're asking, like, does he need to take 2 weeks of clothes? I'm like, no, just take like 1 week of clothes and we'll do laundry because you don't need to take all the stuff. There's laundry everywhere. Actually, what we'll do, like what I did on my trip, I had these little sheets of detergent. I would just rip it up and wash my clothes in the sink. Be fine with that. Thank you, Captain Mir. I appreciate it. Going to Bath for a day with friends. Have another London night. Take us on a day walk with a friend for another day. Yeah, that's perfect. I was actually in Bath. I had the second worst food poisoning I've had in my entire life in Bath last week. That was horrible. It's horrible. So, is Nice really nice? No, not really. There's other places I would go. I'd recommend. I wouldn't put Nice in my top 10 of France. So, friends planning a trip, landing cruise next year to Greece. Well, you can always write Chris. I'll help you out. Helping out your friends, but there's also some people who are commenting above on the thing about places to go and then see there. Again, people who get homesick haven't suffered enough from wanting to travel and not being able to. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. I can see where you're coming from there. Fighting homesickness. Watch Walter's one. Thanks, Alan. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, like this video, it was funny because here's the script I have, my main points I want to talk about in the video. And when I was filming it, literally, I mean, we had dinner at 9, whatever I had, 2:00 in the morning, I woke up, I'm like, I've got to go to the bathroom. From 2:00 in the morning till 10 in the morning. It was so bad, like I was everywhere, let's just say that. But it was so bad, like my muscles were cramped all the way down for like my where to up here as well. It was horrible, and that was like the second day. That's why I was supposed to go to Wales to film a bunch of Wales videos, but I could not move. I was so bad. Literally, I would like in the room. Like, it was funny because my mom, she was there with me, and she had like, because we were in this, it's in a townhouse, and the original rooms we had were like, oh, your mom's a little older. We think you might want to switch to our other building because it's really high. I'm like, okay, but put us both in the same thing. Like, well, we got to put you at the very top and your mom be on the ground floor. I'm like, that's fine. So mom has this room that's like this size of like a living room in a like normal person's house. I'm like, whoa, mom, like you have like a full like living room and bed and the bathtub's in your room too. Like no, but like literally in the room, not in the bathroom, like there. Like, this is so nice. And then I walk up the 5 or 4 flights of stairs up to mine. Yeah, I have a video of the place. And my room was the size of her bathroom. And so when I was sick, I literally would stand up from the toilet and just fall over into the bed. Like, it was sort of like right there. Boom. But I was so sick. And so when I finally was like, I got to film because we're going to leave the next day. I'm like, I got to film some stuff because after 2 days of not filming, it's not really like I got to do something. I went to this park. It's, it's like 2 pounds to go in right on the river. And I started filming a few little parts. I'm like, but then I started filming this homesick video. And it was like during the homesick video, I literally could see in my camera. I was just using my phone to film because I was like, I couldn't even be bothered to set up a tripod. It's so sick. And I was like there, and I could literally see myself like regaining color and feeling better filming this video. So it was kind of interesting. Let's see. Oh, another thing, if you get homesick, do what you do at home. If you're a comic book person, there's comic book stores all over the world. You're like old toys. They have that. If you like, seriously, you like race cars, you like sports, you like the gym, go to a place that does that where you're traveling and you meet other people, but you get to do something you feel better. It's like when I was in Stockholm filming, I went to the gym. And I know it doesn't look like I go to the gym, but for those of you know, I've lost a lot of weight, and it's part of going to the gym a lot. And that was one of those things I felt good. And so I met a few people while I was at the gym, and it was like one of those like, okay, I feel like I made friends. I'm not really homesick anymore. I don't feel bad, and you kind of get that. So, Dallas 75. I was only in Stockholm this time. I was going to be spending more time in Sweden and going to the south, but then my brother-in-law was actually in Latvia, and so it's one of those like, I got to get the train to go down to the south of Sweden and then go to Copenhagen, do some stuff. And he's like, Mark, I'm free this weekend. I'm like, shit, I got to go. Pardon my language. So I ended up, I canceled all that stuff, flew over to Laughing, spent some days with him. So spent some time with the family, but I do need to get up to the north. I think we're going to take Jocelyn up to northern Finland and Sweden so she can see the northern lights. So we're looking at that maybe November-ish. So fingers crossed. Let's see. Clayton, hey, Walter's Robo videos. Thank you very much, Clayton. I appreciate it. Have you ever found a location with San Diego-like weather but more affordable? Lisbon, Portugal. That's why everyone loves going there. Lisbon. It is the San Diego, but they're not scared of the rain. Like San Diego people are scared of the rain. They're not. Wow. Stay in the Himalayas for 14 months, more than 20,000 feet. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, like the Himalayas, that's one. Bhutan's where we'd like to go. Josh really wants to go there. We're trying to figure those things out because, like, now with the kids, like, they're 13 and 17. So one's going to be a senior, one's going to be in 8th grade. So when it was like teaching them 2 plus 2 or fractions, I can do that. But Caleb's doing pre-calc next semester. I'm like, yeah, dude, I can't help you. I'm sorry. I know how to do it for my stuff at work, but I don't know how to teach that. And I don't want to go back to the yelling, like, how do you not know whether you want to? So, favorite restaurant in Rome. It's not really a fancy place, but Est is a place we used to go to all the time. Est. So it was closed for a while during COVID. I don't know if it's back open yet. So 2 girls abroad. Hey, how are you? Good to see you again. Edinburgh and Amsterdam, you can do them. I took the train. I actually took the channel over. It's about a 4-hour train ride from London to Amsterdam. So if you took the 6:30 in the morning one, you get there at 10:30. And then you'd have, the last one I think leaves about 8 o'clock at night and you get it back in at midnight there or something like that. So it is doable. Edinburgh, you could do that. I would probably just fly up to Edinburgh. You could do it, but if it's not as fast. Like if you want to do one of those two, I would do the Amsterdam one. Sorry. I love Edinburgh more though, but for like what you're looking to do, that would be kind of what I'd go for. Okay, Bulobo. Bulobo. So Italian, French, American, Japanese, Mexican. List from 1 to 5 your favorite foods. Ooh, I would probably go. So I love Italian food, but I like the variety of French foods. I'd probably go French one, Italian two, Mexican three, American four, Japanese five. But I like all of them, so it's not like anything's bad. And I would probably tie Mexican with Italian. Like I think we're gonna have Mexican tonight. It's like I love. My dad used to work in Mexico when I was a kid, so I get to go down with him. So like I've been in love with Mexico and Mexicans and like the food, and the people, and everything for since I was a kid. So the worst place I've ever eaten. Ah, it was Bill's because we got in late. There's nothing open. I went to this Bill's place and had their shawarma. It's basically like an Applebee's, Chili's kind of place in Bath because literally there was nothing where we were. And that's where I got food poisoning. About freaking died. Ugh, so not good. John, what country has the hardest border police? Oh, depends where you're going and who you're going with. Like Chile, every time I went through Chile, they searched my stuff like a ton. I remember this when I was on the Poland-Lithuania border once. This is before they were in the European Union. This one was just like, give me the like tons and tons of questions. And they're like, oh, what are you worried about? I'm like, I've never had so many questions. I should go. I just want to practice my English. And so that's what I choose. I was like, ah. But then I've been shook down, like at the Paraguay-Argentine border. I've been shook down before. The Paraguay-Brazil border. I had a guy show me his gun saying, I'm not going to give you a stamp. So I'm like, okay. So that's when I got shook down on the other end, other side of the country. So I think there might have been something going on there. So there's been a few interesting ones. Sirs, I did laundry in London. I like that. I was going to hang out at a nearby cafe, but it's closed. Instead, spent the entire time chatting with the local who also helped me, and it was awesome. Yeah, that's one of those things. Laundromats, you sit there and you talk to people. Like that's just it. You meet people when you do these things. It's kind of fun. Did you call a doctor to help you? No, because I knew exactly what had happened to me because it's happened to me before. So I'm like, this is like, because it was literally like 6 hours after I ate, like on the dot, and then how it was coming out and how I felt. I'm like, and I just knew it just had to get out. So like, just had to get out. Now we have done doctors before when we've had issues when we've traveled. That's one thing. If you're ever worried, like, is there a doctor? A lot of times you can contact the embassy. They might have a list. They won't tell you what doctor to go to, but they can give you like, here are English speaking doctors that we know of because they're not allowed to recommend anybody. Because my last name is Walters. I'm Mark Walters. So it's okay. Mary, don't worry. It's not a stupid question. I get it asked all the time. I see, you already figured it out. Thanks, I guess. I used to get what's the chef guy that wore the orange Crocs? People used to say I look like him all the time. Yes, the kids are that old. It's very scary. Oh man, I've missed a lot of your things. I'm sorry, people. Hitting text 26. How you been? I haven't seen you for a while. Can't expect any more Pennsylvania content anytime soon, or is that all set and done? So I have the script for the Eats of Pennsylvania, and I didn't film when I was there last year. There's something in Pennsylvania this fall I might be going to because I might be in Cleveland for a conference and then tie that into there's like an event in Pennsylvania. I don't know yet, but I know I still have to do my Don'ts of Pennsylvania because I've got some of that written, and the Eats of Pennsylvania I have some of that written too. So there's scripts ready. I just have to get there because I don't want to film here. I want to film on location, and I understand people that film like at their computer. They've gone someplace. They show their. I understand that you get better sound and stuff, but for me, I feel if I'm not in the location filming, like, look, I'm traveling. I feel like I'm lying to you. So it's very weird. I've wasted a lot of money doing that just to make sure I'm like there and stuff, but I don't know. Oh yes, there's a getting chased in Guadalajara. Yeah. Yes, that was a little scary. And then we finally lost the guys, and the taxi driver's like, "You can't be here." And the girls I was walking with, like, "If someone grabs us, just keep running." I'm like, "Oh crap!" Yeah, I made some questionable choices when I've been traveling around the world in my younger days. So, yeah, Centra's worth a day trip from Lisbon for sure. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. We're working on another 50 pounds. Then you won't recognize. I think if I live another 50, maybe I'll finally shave it all off and shave the beard off and be like, who's that little baby there with that baby face? So let's see. Top three dishes. Are you looking at my notes? Because I actually have a video written. Where is it? Friendliest places plug reasons. I gotta find it. My favorite foods while traveling. I actually have that. I filmed that one. I'll give you a couple. One, bigli con carne, this big fat pasta noodle in Italy, in the Veneto region with a duck ragu sauce. That's fantastic. The lamb stew in Xi'an, China, unbelievable. It was so good. Liam learned how to do chopsticks so he could eat it. It was that good. And then I can't ever say no to things like my Schäufele Haxe, big old pork shoulder butt kind of thing in Germany. So those are my favorite things. Nick! Friends from Germany, I'll say, yeah, Nick travels on trains, he meets a lot of people. That's just it. When you're traveling by yourself, you're going to get a chance to talk to people. Do that. Like, that's the thing is you get people that are just kind of shy, and sometimes just need somebody to talk to, and then they'll open up, especially in some countries. Like, Scandinavians tend to be thought of as kind of cold, but once you talk to them, they actually open up and share a lot. So it's one of those things. What up, Billy? There's one I wanted to answer. Mary, what was the rudest country? Oddly enough, I made a video on that one too, and I'm just going to say Luxembourg, and I'm going to leave it at that because you can watch the video when that one comes out. Because I had the 5 rudest countries that I've been to, and yeah, Luxembourg was number 1. So let's see, Mario Battaglia, that was one. The friendliest and nicest ones. It's like you read my note. So there's 10 countries on my nicest country list. I filmed it in Ireland, so that was one. Iceland's another one. U.S., Canada, Italy, Rwanda. So those are some of them. But there's more out there. Portsmouth. It's worth it for a day trip. If you're like, a lot of people go there because their cruises leave from there. So I would go there a day early so you can go spend the evening there and go out to the pubs and stuff and kind of see the historic center and do that in the Old Harbor. Like, that's kind of worth it. Morning, Adam. Hope you're doing well. Alex, pura vida, my friend. Pura vida. How much is too much for a train from Berlin to Dresden? I don't know. Just go to bahn.de, bahn.de. That's the German train lines. It'll tell you exactly how much it is. But Juan, if you're going to be buying your tickets for trains in Germany, don't buy them the day of. Buy them a few days before, because it's a significant discount if you buy tickets early. Like, significant. Like Italy, buying it early, we bought our tickets like 2 or 3 weeks early. We could get first class tickets for the price of second class tickets. If we would have waited. My favorite: Lisbon, Óbidos, Porto, Albufeira, Tomar, not Castelo Branco, no. Outside of Porto, there's the Guimarães. Guimarães is good. Those are some good ones to go to. I really do not want to see Athens, but only go to Greece. Do it. Like, Lori, I don't know if you bought your tickets yet, but like we do is, if we're not going to go to Athens because it's so expensive to fly from the U.S. direct to Greece, we'll go to like Italy for $1,000 and save $700 on each flight, and then we'll do like a cheap U.S. EasyJet kind of flight to Hanya and go see our family in Heraklion too. So we do that. Yes, Scotland is another nice one. Yep. Juan, I can't tell you the prices. I have no idea. You got to go to the website. Yes, Jonathan, standoffish is nice. That's a nice way to put it. It's okay, my friend. I understand. Okay, so your wife's proving there for us. So my 2 daughters, we are a loud family. I'm worried about. Just remember, if you feel like you're getting too loud, just be like, hey, inside voices. Quiet. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And what I've found is in Paris, people are very understanding, especially when we had kids. Like, we took our kids, and people were always so helpful. Like, the reason Paris gets a bad rap is because there's so many tourists there, and the waiters are just done in the popular tourist places. So you go out a little bit, You'll be fine. Oh, see, here's the thing. June is tough because like I'm a big oyster person. I would say get the char grilled oysters. They're fantastic. That would be one of my things I love, and then all the usual stuff. We have videos on the eats. I think I have videos on. If you look up Skylar, if you look up like Walter's World New Orleans food or something, I think you have 2 or 3 videos that go through and it actually shows the restaurants we ate at. So that might give you some ideas. But it's really the food you want to have because there's so many good restaurants there. No reason to wait in a line when you can get the same, relatively the same thing at another place. Sean, any country you haven't visited yet that you want to? Yes. So we have Ethiopia and Egypt set for 2025. Fingers crossed, everything works out. Those are 2 places. Jocelyn is Bhutan, where she really wants to go. Liam wants to go to Chile, so he can eat chili with chilies in it in Chile while he's chili. Yeah, as Caleb said, that's a long way for a word pun. I'm like, yeah, but whatever. Jimmy, you'll love it. I love York. You'll love it. Let's see. Have you ever done OBB night train? Got to sleep from Stuttgart to Zagreb. Booked in July. So excited! 100 years for 2 people. That's not bad. So this is one thing. So the night trains had really kind of disappeared across Europe. Like in the 90s, I took them all the time. Early 2000s, I took them all the time. 2010s, they started disappearing. And now they've started to come back like the last 3 or 4 years. The night trains have kind of come back. And so they're usually pretty good. They're usually pretty good. OBB, I like the OBB trains. They're good. But, you got your seat reservation. Did you get a bed? Because you get the bed or a seat or a cot. Like there's different kinds of comfort levels. So be aware of that. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. Eric, I haven't had the, yeah. So is the Amalfi Coast overrated? So it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. I got to give it that. But there's so many tourists there. I actually did a video on the most over touristed places in Europe. I should have it. I think it's going to come out next week, and it's on the list. Like if you want to go see, go to Puglia, go to Bari, Alberobello, Matera, Pogliano a Mare. Go to those over there. A lot cheaper, a lot less tourists. Still a great Italian adventure. So, Grella, have I been to Australia? Yes, I was an exchange student in Australia when I was a young lad. I had long hair, longer than this, and I had a lot more hair on top and a lot less on my belly. Thanks, John. I'll have to ask you some of the insights, buddy. Mitch, I am an aisle person. I'm a heavy guy, and I don't like bothering people in the middle seat and the window seat, so I like to be on the aisle side a little. I kind of lean out so I don't bother people. So that's kind of like my go-to kind of thing. So that's one of the things I like to do. Let's see. Everything. Moving back, a homesickness thing. For those who are going to live abroad for a little bit longer, look for groups. Jocelyn was a member of the International Women in Lisbon group, and so she got to meet other women, international women that were there, and they had something in common. And sometimes you join the Pokemon group or you join the boxing club I was talking about before, but you find those kind of connector things that you have back home. It can really help. So anyway, I just wanted to hop on for a little bit and let you all know a few things about homesickness and how to fight it when you travel, but also answer some of your questions because I have not been doing the lives like I used to, and I apologize for that. I'll try to do better this summer because I'll be around more. I'm so excited. I already had one of my trips already, so another one's not for a little bit, so I got some time to be home. So I will do some more lives, answer some questions. I'll actually schedule them so it's not like a last minute thing. People randomly find. We'll have one on there. Maybe we'll do a Whiskey Wednesday. Maybe next Wednesday. We'll see. So we'll do something to kind of highlight some of the stuff and answer your questions. But I really appreciate all of you, all the kind words from everybody. Everybody's your support. I wish you happy travels, everybody. And if you get homesick, don't worry. You'll get through it. Just use some of those ways. All right. Bubba, good to see you. Sarah Phillips, hope you're doing well. Sarah, I'll finish up with Sarah. Where my kids enjoy traveling the most? Costa Rica, Jamaica, Mexico, Iceland. They've enjoyed those the most because they got to get out and do stuff. That's why I tell people Central and South America is great with kids because a lot of it's outdoorsy stuff versus the museum, town hall, square kind of stuff. Because we all, adults, we love sitting drinking wine and eating food. And kids are like, I want to play. I want to move. Like Ecuador was great. The kids were like swinging on vines and holding, hummingbirds and whitewater rafting kind of stuff. So, yeah, there's that. Bring back Whiskey Wednesday. Yes. All right, my friends. I wish you all the best. Thanks for hopping on for a bit. I'm glad I can answer your questions. Anyway, I'll be back in probably next week or the week after. We'll be on there. I'll announce them so it's a little bit easier. And I'll probably do it later. It's like 6:30. It's a little too early. I always find those like 7, 8 o'clock start times are better because then Josh and I can have a few drinks and we can chat. Kids are doing their thing, so they can have some time. And now that it's summertime, they're out of school now, so maybe they'll give me some free time. Oh, Alan, what do you think of the reaction channels that show your videos? Some get a lot more views than I do, so that kind of sucks. The only ones I get upset when they don't put the link to the original video on there. Like that's when I was like, come on. I've talked to YouTube about it. It's one of those things you could file a thing to get them to stop using it, but then you have to go through the whole process, and they just make it like it's, like Mr. Beast would say, they're giving you free advertising. So, and some of them are good. Some of them are like, I want people to see what it's like. If it helps people learn more, then it's worth it, But I mean, it's one of those things. It is what it is. There's not much you can do about it. Like I've thought about doing some reaction stuff, especially like the reason why I started putting more video outs on like TikTok. I'm not really doing TikTok anymore now, but like Instagram and Facebook again is because I saw so many bad like TikTok travel tip videos. And I'm like, you're going to get people arrested or thrown off airlines because you're like, oh, do this because this is my hack. I'm like, no, that's a horrible thing to do. So those are some ones I probably should do in like the dumbest hacks I've seen. But I don't want to use other people's content. I just like, here's an example and then talk about it. But anyway, yes, Lori, I have had the dreaded SSS. For those who know, that's when you get the super secret special safety search. Fun times. Anyway, I wish y'all the best. Talk to you later. Thanks, everybody. Bye.